Hello, fellow Wrestling Crusaders, and welcome to another episode. My name's Sean Wasserkrug. With me, as always, is Jordan J.P.O. Owens.
That's me!
Yes, and we are here to talk Forbidden Door. It's been almost a week, so we've had some time to digest it, figure out what we liked, disliked about the show. One thing definitely is holy bloated show. 15 matches. I think half the card got announced like 3-4 days before the pay-per-view even started. And then one got dropped literally right when the show started. But I will say this. I enjoyed the pay-per-view. I never not enjoy an AEW pay-per-view. There's only been one time where I think I was like, yeah, that wasn't a strong one. Outside of like All In or All Out, because I didn't watch that one. That's like the only I think AEW pay-per-view I've missed is All Out last year because I wasn't paying another $50 within a week of All In. This one definitely did feel the length for me. Did it feel that way with you for the 15 matches? Like this, like what? Because Double or Nothing was 15, and I didn't feel the weight of that one. This one I definitely felt the weight.
Was it 15?
Yeah, it was 15 last month too.
Wow. No, I think I did feel the length here. I mean, and there's a lot of good on the show, but like there's also stuff that like everything was given a lot of time here, and some matches didn't have enough story behind it too. So you are watching a lot of just matches for matches, and yeah.
I mean, you're gonna get that with Forbidden Door. I mean, it's more or less just let's get everybody on the show. But yeah, the lack of story for a lot of these matches, like there's probably at least 5-6 matches on this card that were like, let's just throw you all in here. And it's like, well, I love great wrestling as much as the next person, but I need a little something storyline wise, just to have a reason. Like I said, the first match, there was 4 0-hour matches. The one that just randomly happened or there was 5? Yeah, there was 5. Yeah, the random 5th one.
Yeah.
So the random 5th one that just they didn't announce and they just came out was Kyle Fletcher versus Serpentico. And I think this was literally just, hey Kyle, go out there and wrestle. Who's back here who hasn't worked yet?
Yeah.
Serpentico, go out there.
First time Serpentico's been on TV since December, by the way.
Yeah, at least AEW wise, yeah. Because I mean, I got to watch him when they were here a few months back. Him and Angelico wrestled for Ring of Honor.
He's been an ROH regular, an ROH regular. But yeah, as far as AEW, he's actually been unmasked on TV more recently than he's been Serpentico, actually.
Oh, really? But yeah, there really wasn't much to this. Part of me thinks they only booked this because Kyle Fletcher just lost the Ring of Honor title at CMLL, was it 2 days prior?
Yeah.
So I think it was more or less just to get Kyle on the show to acknowledge that happened. But I mean, this is a glorified squad.
Yeah, I was about to listen 4 minutes. The only thing I can think of, because I even remember I was on the phone at the time, and I was like, "Oh, we're wrestling already? It's like 6:45." And I saw his graphic had former TV champ, and I went, "When the hell did that happen?"
I knew that happened before the show started, but I was not expecting him to wrestle, and I was like, no. Okay, really? I was like, do we need another match? But it was like, it's 3 minutes. It's not a big deal. But also, there's barely any crowd in the arena at this point. The hard cam side was bare bone going in.
Nobody's expecting a match. I think it's 6:45, 6:50. You know what I mean?
Honestly, if it's anything like how it was when they were here, half the crowd is still in line trying to get in the damn building. So it's not even because AEW is not the greatest at getting people in on time. So to run a match at that point was really stupid. I mean, it was a 2-hour 0-hour. They could have waited an extra 15 minutes before throwing them in there, especially for a 3-minute match.
There's only so much time. I get why they did it then, but then make sure people are in, or I just don't do it. Really, is my opinion. Don't do it.
Well, yeah, I agree. Don't do it. But if you're gonna do it, let 15 more minutes of people get in the building. So that way it's a little more
but then you're cutting down on the other matches, though. I kind of feel like
not really, because a lot of it's just standing around talking and shit. That's taking out one backstage promo in the back where they're going, "How do you feel about the match tonight?"
I know, but I don't think you just want cold match after cold match after cold match, though. So I don't know. I kind of get it.
I agree that they shouldn't do the match at all, but if you're gonna do it, let's at least get the fucking camera side fuller at least. But next, we actually had a really, honestly, this match was better than I expected it to be. Not that I expected it to be bad. I just, once again, thrown together match. We had a 4-way tag team match. We had Kings of the Black Throne. I guess that's what they're calling Malachi and Brody when they're not House of Black as a group.
I don't like that.
No, I don't either. Just
Quick
keep it
side
House
note.
of Black.
Hey, when Billy Gunn teamed with X-Pac, they were still just DX. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
They just weren't. They weren't New Age Outlaws. It's just DX.
Yeah.
We don't need another team name.
That was previously established. Maybe that was a bad example of mine, but still, like, you know what I mean? I'm just saying, like,
yeah,
it just seems unnecessary to be like, oh, but these two are this when it's not those. It's just they're House of Black.
So
you know?
Is Brody and Buddy a different team name? Is Malachi and Buddy a different team?
Yeah.
Like, we don't need mixed matches. It's fucking House of Black.
Unnecessary branding. Yeah, unnecessary branding.
But anyway, we had House of Black, Malachi and Brody against Tomohiro Ishii and Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong and Gabe Kidd, and then Private Party. In terms of this match, I feel like Private Party is like the odd team out because you got a bunch of hard-hitting teams, and then there's Private Party.
Good. I think that helped, I think, actually.
You what?
I think that helped it because it gave a little bit of a different mix to all these other hard hitters. So I'm actually glad they did that.
Yeah. What were your thoughts on this 4-way?
No, I mean, this was a fine, it's 9 minutes. So, if you think there's 8 people in here, so just enough for everyone to get a little bit here. You know what I mean? And like, no, this is a fun 4-way here. This makes sense as a pre-show match to give you like, all right, these are all talented guys here. Gabe Kidd's kind of becoming a standout a little bit here. We know O'Reilly and Strong are fucking awesome. Private Party has had a bit of a comeuppance too in the last few weeks. So, no, I mean, this was fun enough. This is a perfect example of a fun pre-show.
Yeah, in terms of an actual, like, people in the match, Private Party is probably the only team that I'm, like, on. But, like, Gabe Kidd is awesome. Strong, Riley, Ishii, Brody, Malachi. All those guys are great. I would love just to watch those guys just wrestle in general. So, I mean, like, there's nothing wrong with the match itself. But, like, I was kind of hoping, like, what's the winner get? Does the winner get a title shot? Does the winner get something out of this?
Sean, you silly Billy, overthinking that things need to make sense and actually have stakes.
I just want there to be a reason for this match. Just give me something. Like, even if we know House of Black's going to win, like a future title shot down the road or maybe a shot at a title eliminator match.
Cards.
I just
Tony
want
Khan
something.
is a New Japan booker where he books lots of multi-man matches.
I just want House of Black to get something out of this. I really do. Because they're the only team that we knew was going to win outside of Private Party because they're the only team that was not a New Japan combo mix. So we knew Ishii and Riley wasn't going to win, and we knew
my money was on them for sure.
Yeah. Next, we had Willow, Nightingale, and Tam Nakano against Kris Statlander and Momo Watanabe. And no, Momo did not come out in a muumuu. That was something we were wondering on. What were your thoughts on this match?
Missed opportunity. No, I mean, another fine, tag match here. It definitely made me mispredict Wednesday's match because I thought, okay, Willow's not going to go 2-0 against Kris, right? But she did. So it screwed up my future predictions. But this was the prediction I had for this night, though, was give the faces a win.
I mean, at least Willow didn't pin Statlander. Like, they did their best to kind of keep them separate for the
I kind of just figured faces win here, and then Kris. I think Kris should have went on the tournament a little bit longer.
I think Statlander and Watanabe should have won here because I definitely thought Willow was winning on Wednesday, which she did. It's totally gonna be Willow and Mariah May, 100%. Like, you can't have because if you do Statlander and Mariah, it's like it's heel. Like, you got to have someone to root for, and that's got to be Willow. Which they actually had a pretty
but I don't know, man. People are starting to root for Mariah, which is why I was a little iffy because Mariah is starting to get that buzz off of Toni where people are just kind of liking her now,
It is, but it's still a situation of heel because you're going to root for Mariah just because you're not going to root for Statlander. And Willow's is last year's champion, so you got that little storyline. Is she going to be the first 2-timer? Stuff like that. But this match itself, I think, was solid. Like I said, and I said this on last week's show, I don't know much about Nakano or Watanabe to gauge how they wrestle. I didn't hate anything they did. It didn't really move the needle for me by any means. I would love to watch these two. Like, I would have been okay if they would have had a one-on-one match on Dynamite. Just say, hey, here's what these girls can do on their own instead of in a mixed tag, not a mixed tag, but just in the tag match. Yeah. Just give them a little more time. But I mean, it was a fine 0-hour match. Next we had Owen Hart Cup tournament match. I mean, we already spoiled who won because we were talking earlier, but we had Mariah May against Saraya. And I said before on last week's show, I was like, whoever wins this is going to the finals. I love Shida, but Shida is not relevant in storyline stuff right now. So whoever winning this is going to beat Shida, Mariah May, or Saraya. I don't think their match here was as good as their Dynamite match they had a couple weeks back, but it was still solid. But I think they had a better turn a couple weeks back in their match. But it was still a decent match. What was your thoughts?
It was all right. Yeah, I don't know, something about Saraya. Yeah, a lot of her matches never get to like the next gear for me here. But like again, I don't think you necessarily need to have a banger. You know what I mean on the pre-show here. So I thought it fit enough well. So that was fine.
Yeah, and like I say, I think for the most part, because that's one thing about Toni is that he'll have the occasional shocker, but he does have a lot of predictive booking. I mean, we're getting Toni and Mariah. Like, can we just already pencil that in? It's gonna be Toni and Mariah at All In. Like, we just know. So, you know, unless you're gonna throw us a little curveball, which is what New Japan loves to do at the New Japan Cup, it's like, hey, there's gonna be at least 1 to 3 upsets, and you're not gonna know which ones it are, and it's gonna be the ones that are gonna shock you. We don't really get that here, whether it's King of the Ring or whether it's the Owen Hart Cup. Everything's pretty storyline straightforward. But yeah, it was a solid match throughout. I'm really liking this Harley Cameron and Anna Jay Saraya group. I'm hoping that they get a little more screen time because I'm actually really liking this utilization of them all three together.
Yeah, and Harley's entertaining too. I like Harley.
I like Harley because when she first popped up, I was like, okay, you know, I'm not really buying her character because she's like, I'm crazy. But now I'm like watching her work. I'm like, you know what? She's kind of like Anna Jay, but she's got a little more. I feel like with Anna Jay, it's still 1 2 1 2 1 2. Harley's a little more fluid. Maybe Anna Jay being with them will help her out. Maybe being with Saraya will help Anna Jay with her because she's a good wrestler. She's just very plotty, robotic in the ring. She needs to be more fluid and relaxed. And I think Anna Jay has the capability, but I think they need to put her with someone that's going to help her with that. And I feel like Saraya is that kind of person with Harley as well.
She's one of those that got grabbed very quick. I want to say Anna Jay said she got signed on like her, like, you know, umpteenth match. You know what I mean? Like she got signed pretty quickly, you know?
And that could have been because of Jungle Boy. But just because they signed him, it's like, hey man,
I don't know about that. I don't know.
I'm not saying like she's not worthy of it, but I'm saying Jungle Boy probably maybe helped say, hey, you know, my girlfriend's a great wrestler too.
Well, I don't think they were. I don't feel like they were dating before.
I thought they were dating at that point. Maybe not. Maybe not.
I thought that was like an AEW relationship.
Yeah. Oh well. If it is, I apologize. If not, I mean, there's nothing wrong because Anna Jay's got a ton of potential. She just needs to be more fluid with her matches. It's just because you could just see that she's remembering the spots as they're happening, and so it's just like you watch her, it's like, I know you're better than this. You just need to trust that you know the spot and not feeling like you have. Because you watch her, she'll take a bump and she knows what the next bump's supposed to be, so she immediately like shifts her body to get ready for the next spot. It's like, just sell into it. I know we're talking inside wrestling at this point. I apologize, but like I watch her and I get so like frustrated because it's like, I know you're capable of doing great things, but you're so like, I got to get to point A to point B to point, you know, so that way I'm there for the next spot. But if it doesn't look fluid or natural, it just looks overtly planned. Anyway, our last 0-hour match, we had the Lucha Brothers and Mistico against Los Ingobernables de Japón. Yoda Tuji. I still don't know how to say the last name.
I think you just take out the T, so Suji.
Is it Suji? Okay. Titan, because they always have to emphasize that, Titan. And then
Titan. I feel like it's.
Is it Titan? Is it Titan?
I feel like it's Titan.
It's Titan.
Yeah.
Because I always want to say Titan. It's like, it's not Titan. It's.
Yeah, no. I always assumed it was Titan whenever his name and results.
And then someone that I love dearly, Hiromu Takahashi. I love Hiromu so much. This is a fun match. This was the epitome of a wake the crowd up, let's get ready to start this show kind of thing. They all went out there, did their moves, hit their spots. It was a fun little match here and there. Lucha Brothers pulled off with the win, which I felt like made sense. What were your thoughts on the trios match?
No, this was fun. Like you said, a good way to rev up the crowd a little bit more, and also, this is the closer of the opening hour, so I mean, if there anyone's maybe on the fence of mine, it's a good way to close that. No, I had fun. These six worked well together here. One of the more smooth Mistico matches I've seen, and yeah, I'm also with you. I think Hiromu. Let's give him something juicier next year for sure. I hope.
Put him in the match. I would have loved to have him in a match with Orange. We're going to talk about Orange a little bit later, but I would love to see Hiromu and Orange go. I think their styles, that would be energetic, because when he goes to do the pocket thing, I'd love to see how Hiromu acts with that. I would love to actually watch those two work. And I was right in my prediction. I knew it was either going to be the TNT ladder match or MJF was going to open the show. Obviously, MJF opened the damn show with him. Say that I'm going to say it wrong.
He's like Brock Lesnar. If he can't close, he's gonna open. Hechicero. I'm saying it wrong. Oops.
No, I think every time you say it, I'm like, that is how you say it. It's just like if I don't hear it right away, then I'm like,
yeah,
I'm not gonna say it right. These guys are capable of a better match. I felt like they didn't give it their full all, because Hechicero, in the little that I've seen him in, he works better match than he worked here. Maybe it's a style clash. I don't know. Pun intended. And it was also MJF's second match back. I mean, I like both guys. I just didn't feel like the match really got into that next gear for me. Do you feel the same way, or were you fine with it?
I mean, I might be a little bit higher on it than yours, but yeah, and I think it's also one of those things too of this was almost like this is the match that's happening. Okay, you know what I mean? Like there wasn't much juice behind it here. MJF just returning, styles clash. Yeah, it could lend it from not maybe making it to that next level. So I do see that to a degree. But I thought otherwise, I thought it was fine. I think it's an okay opener.
Are you a fan of MJF now using the Brainbuster as a finisher? Because I'm not. I'm fine with him having a non-submission hold finisher, but I don't know. The Brainbuster just doesn't feel like. It's not gelling with me yet. It could very well gel with me here eventually. But
I kind of want to give it more time personally before I make a judgment. I don't hate it so far.
I'd totally be okay with him just using that rope pile driver he does. I forgot what they call it. Like
I guess that's more of a trickier move to always pull out. So I can maybe see why you don't want that as your finisher.
But he's using that he uses that as a trademark in every one of his matches. Just
true. He usually
play with a little more impact and then roll them up. And especially now that he's gone heel, he's right next to the ropes. Hook the rope every fucking time, as long as the ref doesn't see it. And then if they do catch it, then boom, put them in the Fujiwara armbar. Case closed. I mean, Brainbuster is the problem with the Brainbuster. Much like a lot of finishers, it will look good depending on the person taking it. The person taking it is going to live or die on how well that finisher is going to look at a given moment. And so MJF's kind of at the mercy of whoever's taking the move. So if he's got someone that's going to make it like he fucking murdered him, then great finisher. But if you don't have that, then it's just like, okay, it's a suplex. Same thing with kind of like with Moxley with the double underhook DDT. It all depends on who's taking that move. If the person taking that move makes it look like you murdered them, then it's a great move. If you don't, then it just looks kind of weak. But yeah, like I said, I feel like both these guys are capable of something bigger, but they were the opener. So it's one of those things. It is what it is. Next, we had the trios match. We had the Elite, Matthew and Nicholas Jackson and Okada against the Acclaimed and Hiroshi Tanahashi. This match didn't really work for me at all. It really didn't. I would love to know what got up Max Caster's ass during this. Just like, bitch. I was like, I have no idea what they're doing with Caster. I don't. I really don't know what character story they're trying to tell with Caster now. Is he trying to turn heel? Is he going to break away from Bowens? Or is he just saying, I'm just going to fucking do whatever the hell I want on the mic now, and you guys just deal with it? Because it just didn't flow. It felt off. But he's been like that now for about a month now. I would say the highlight of this match for me was Okada DJing. When he was in that DJ thing. That was the best part of the match for me. But what were your thoughts on this?
No, I'm with you. Yeah, this is one that didn't do a hell of a lot for me here. You know what I mean? It's transitional match. We're leading to Bucks versus the Claim later on. I don't know if this match made me more excited for that, which is the bad part. That also isn't great. But this is one. I never totally connected with this match as much as I maybe had hoped for. I don't know. And it's one of 3 6-man tags we got tonight, and it was just all right.
And it sucks because it's Tanahashi and Okada. I mean, that's a all-time rivalry.
I kind of wish they just maybe done that. I don't know.
I would have been, exactly. I would have been okay with just doing a Continental Championship match with Tanahashi and Okada.
Because we are now 2 pay-per-views in a row, no tag titles, no Continental title.
Yeah. And but Tanahashi just can't move as well as he used to. So I get why they kind of probably made it a tag match, because Tanahashi's entering what I like to call like the senior New Japan group, which is always like where you got Nagata and all them like wrestling in the multi-mans before the big matches. Tanahashi is transitioning.
He has.
Because
you've seen over the last few years. Yeah, he unfortunately is not what he was 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. Yeah,
it's mainly his knees. You just watch him run, and he just looks like in pain when he runs now. But speaking of the first great match of the night, Bryan Danielson against Shingo Takagi. I was shocked this match was so early in the card. I expected it later in the card. But Owen Hart tournament match. This was exactly what I wanted out of these two. Was just 20 minutes of them beating the fucking shit out of each other. I loved this match. It wasn't my number 1 match on the card because there was some really good shit that happened later. But I really, really enjoyed this. But I love Takagi, and of course I love Danielson. But what were your thoughts on this match?
No, I mean, this is one on paper I was looking forward to from the get-go here. I've been a Takagi fan for a while, back when he would make, Dragon Gate excursions in the U.S. for Ring of Honor. An FIP, so I've been a fan of his for a minute, and I knew this was going to be good. I like the fact that this is an Owen Hart Cup in the middle. If most matches are on TV, but this match is so good they had to put it on pay-per-view. Not put it on just a random Dynamite.
Oh yeah,
and, no, this is good, man. And not the first time these two have fought. They actually fought for 30 minutes at Dragon Gate USA. So check that match out too if you ever have free time.
Yeah. And he does it such in a way that it looks menacing, but he's actually very well protected. But when he hit the is it the Made in Japan? It's the Made in Japan. Wait, yeah. Danielson took that beautifully. And I love that even with this, and they never showed the replay of the other side. I love that we don't know if Takagi tapped out or if he just passed out, kind of thing. Like the way they had the angle of it and the camera shot, we never saw Shingo quit. And because Shingo's not really a quitting kind of character. So I love that they did it in a way that it saves Shingo's face. Like, we don't know if he quit or if he just passed out, or if Aubrey was like, no, his arm's going to get broken, I'm calling it, kind of thing. So I liked how they did the ending there. It saved Shingo from anything like that. And it's something that they can go to further down the road, much like how they did with Okada and Danielson. I would gladly take another match between Danielson and Shingo again. Next, probably the biggest story-driven match of the pay-per-view. We have Timeless Toni Storm against Mina Shirakawa with Mariah May in the middle. What were your thoughts on this one? You go first.
No, I like this one here. I thought, like you said, they actually built time up of this match. I liked on the match graphic that Mariah May is just on both sides. You know what I mean? So, yeah. I mean, I was never the biggest, most hard-hitting story, but it was a fun enough story here. My first kind of sampling of Mina. But I think has a lot of fun charisma. She comes out, she's giving it her all and delivering the ring as well. I thought it was a solid match.
Yeah, it was solid. I was intrigued throughout it. I was curious where it was going to go at certain points. I thought the match was very well worked by both. Like I said, it was also my first legitimate. I mean, she had wrestled for AEW for the past month, but this is my first okay, here's Mina, and I thought Mina did a solid job with it. I liked how at the end it became a respect thing afterwards. And I also loved, if no one got to catch it, the media scrum afterwards, how all 3 of them did the dance, and Toni just did not know how to do it. And so it was hilarious how Toni was just trying to do the dance with them. It's like there's like a 30-second video of it. It's perfect. That just once again proves that Toni's one of the most entertaining wrestlers on the roster.
And again, if you have any interest in watching the post media scrum, that's fine. But go out of your way to watch Tony's again.
Yeah, trust me. If you go on Twitter, you'll find it. It's a 30-second clip. It is hilarious watching them do it. Next, we had the match that Jordan did not agree with me on in terms of how to book this. Zack Sabre Jr. versus Orange Cassidy. I said it would have been more fun if it was Orange Cassidy against Jeff Cobb, and Zack Sabre would have been in the Learning Tree match. I'm going to say this right now. I will eat crow. These two fucking went out there and tore the roof off.
You better not say you were still right.
No, because I'm watching it going, fuck, I'm going to have to retract my statement on the show because these guys are killing it. Yeah, Zack has always been one of my favorite wrestlers, and that's not because I got to work with him on a show or two. I just love watching his style of wrestling. A lot of people like to give him slack because he's not this like big muscular dude, but I fucking love watching Zack work, and I love watching him twist everyone into a fucking pretzel. And the way, because every time I watch him, I'm just going, God, I know how painful that is, and I can if I was Orange and I'm not trying to like end the match, I'd want to tap in general because most of the shit that Zack's putting people in really fucking hurts. And the end of the match, I was just going, God damn it, dude. Like, that better be the finish. Because, Orange can't do shit at this point. But this was a really enjoyable match. I actually had a lot of fun with this one. I'm assuming you did, too.
Well, no, I did, too. I think Orange has shown that he's more than capable enough to where, hey, we're going to throw you in a really fun four-way. We're going to give you Ospreay. Like, that was the match I actually ate crow on because I remember when Ospreay came in, I was like, really, I know Orange is good, but there's other people who you could have a better match with, and they ended up having a fantastic match here. So I'm more than sold on oh, this is a good, juicy, as far as I know, first time ever match between these two. It had been kind of built up in a way, before with the 4-way. So no, this was one that made sense to me. You know what I mean? We haven't been overdone on Zack Sabre. Very sporadic appearances, usually just around the Forbidden Door time, if I'm not mistaken. So no, this lived up to just. This is what the Forbidden Door is. Just really solid New Japan guy, really solid AEW guy, just like Danielson Takagi, having a really good match.
Yeah, and I also like the respect that they had afterwards. Because Zack Sabre is usually one of those guys, he'll, fuck off kind of thing. But, giving Orange the glasses, and then even also during the media scrum, basically, giving all the flowers to Orange in a case, basically saying, if you guys don't think Orange can wrestle, then you guys are fucking stupid. It's no, we know Orange can wrestle. There was never a doubt that Orange Cassidy can't wrestle. It's just his character. I just want a little more out of him from it. But his character's great. It's just there are certain times where I just want kind of like when he was wrestling Jericho, where it's just kind of a little more like dark Cassidy, and even when he was with Trent. Not necessarily in this case. There was no reason for him to go dark orange, but or blood orange is what I like to call it. But next we have the trios match. We have the Learning Tree, Jericho and Big Bill and Jeff Cobb against Samoa Joe, Hook, and Katsuyori Shibata. I tuned out during this match. I tuned all the way the fuck out. I was excited because Joe, Hook, Shibata, and Jeff Cobb, but I barely remember. I just remember the finish. That's all I remember. So I'm gonna have to rely on you on this because I just did not care. I was expecting it to be fun, maybe a little hardcore-y, and it was kind of just a straight up trios.
No, just a straight up trios. No shenanigans, no FTW shenanigans. Which maybe for a show like this is maybe the time they should have pulled that out because you have you already had a 6-man tag we saw earlier. You've already had great hard hitting Danielson Takagi. I don't know if you call them cruiserweights, but Zack Sabre Orange just a good match as well. Yeah, this could have maybe used a little more of something because this is just it's fine. There's nothing bad to say about this. 6 talented people in a match, but this is one. If you zoned out, you're good, buddy, and you can move on with your life. You're not really missing too much. The only takeaway that I'll add from this match is there's a moment where I'm like, they wrestle for a little bit, and I'm like, ooh, I want that in a singles match, which is Samoa Joe and Jeff Cobb. To give me that madness.
Yeah,
I remember looking at that going, oh, that's something I want to see. So that's the only other takeaway I have. It was a little tease of that.
Yeah, Samoa Joe, Jeff Cobb, I'd watch that any day of the week. I do feel like, and I'll just a little quick lump sum. Once we got past that match, the last 4 matches, I think scratch that. 3 out of the last 4 matches, I felt really over-delivered. Next, we had the TNT ladder match. We had Jack Perry, Konosuke Takeshita, Mark Briscoe, Dante Martin, Lilo Rush, and El Phantasmo, a.k.a. AEW Logan Paul, which is what people are calling him. I think that's unfair. I think that's unfair. I love El Phantasmo. We all love ladder matches, but I was not really going into this like, oh, yeah. But these guys went out there and fucking killed it. I thought they had a great, brutal ladder match. It went exactly the way we thought it was going to go, sadly. Nothing against Jack Perry, but I just we both wanted Takeshita to win just so that we had something a little different with it. But yeah, what were your thoughts on this ladder match?
No, I think, this is kind of what you want to a degree. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's going to be, we'll see. Maybe the best ladder match of the week. I don't know. We got 2 more tomorrow. But very well could be here. I mean, yeah, the only downfall is, it being kind of the obvious, 2-person race and really a 1-person race. Like, that was, I think, just the fans hoping for Takeshita to possibly have a shot. But really, this is always kind of the Jack Perry story and whatnot here. But you throw talented people in here. Leo Rush had some good moments here. Phantasmo. So I thought everyone looked pretty good. Hopefully, it sounds like everyone's healthy too. Dante and ladder matches scares me, but I think he made it through this one. Yeah,
they were all Brian Cage. They all got their shit in. And those 2 tables exploded. When Takeshita did that, oh god, what the fuck's the move called? Sammy's Blue Thunder Bomb. When he blew Thunder Bomb down Phantasma, those tables imploded, man. It was just like shit. But yeah, it was a fun ladder match. Next, we have Mercedes Moné against Stephanie. Is it Vaquer? Vaquer?
Stephanie Vaquer.
Okay. Vaquer. In a winners takes all for the TBS Championship and New Japan Strong match. We both said we really don't know how Stephanie is because we haven't got to watch her now. And I said it would be great if she wrestled someone like Emma Frost. I swear to God, I did not know that they booked that match on Collision. I just threw
Lady Frost, not the excellent character Emma Frost.
Yes, Lady Frost. I did not know that match was already booked when we called that show. So like when they popped out, I was like, oh my God. Were they fucking listening to the show?
Tony's like, yeah, fucking good point, Sean.
Okay, yeah. Stephanie and Lady Frost, sure, let's do that. What were your thoughts of this match? There was no question who was going to win, but the match itself.
No, and again, that's the only small. I don't even want to call it a hindrance. That is unfortunately just wrestling. Where you just know as a wrestling fan, Mercedes is not this huge signing, maybe the biggest female signing. I mean, Saraya was pretty big too, but this is a straight company grab signing. She's not going to lose her title in the first shot.
She's bigger. She's bigger than Saraya because Saraya was injured and was rumored to never wrestle again. With Saraya,
right?
I mean, with Mercedes, she was still hot commodity.
Big, this is the first big we fucking stole you kind of you know what I mean. You might have been upset at the other company too, but we took you back. You know what I mean? So you just know just the wrestling logic. But I like Vaquer. I wish they had. Because when we talked on the show, like we said, we hope she should have had some matches because other than just holding the title above and whatnot in vignettes, it was very cold kind of match for a minute. We got a brief glimpse of it on Saturday with Lady Frost, and I hope they bring her back. She's somebody I walked away from being I want to see more of her now. So I hope this isn't a one and done. I would love for them to grab her, or at least bring her back more, whether it's Forbidden Door or just occasionally.
Yeah, she said after the show that she plans to come back and show up some more. Not obviously with a full-time contract by any means.
Yeah.
But she definitely said that she plans on coming back and doing some more matches. I remember while the match was going on, I texted you and I was like, dude, this Stephanie is impressing the shit out of me. I was watching it and I was just I love her style. I love the way she looks. I like the horns. I like the whole getup she's doing. But the match itself, and you guys know, I think Mercedes is a good wrestler. But I feel there's certain times where I feel she not necessarily gets lazy, but there's times where she doesn't flow with her opponents as well. I mean, this is even when she was back when she was Sasha Banks. I don't think she's a very popular wrestler. She deserves her flowers in terms of that, but I don't think she's the hottest free agent, blah, 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 blah. I think it's more because of the Sasha Banks name than the Mercedes Moné name. But Stephanie fucking made Mercedes look amazing in that match. And Mercedes, back to Stephanie. Stephanie looked like $1,000,000 in that match. They worked beautifully together. It was brutal. It was hard hitting. Both these girls looked fucking great in this match. Nothing against Willow, but this is the first match that made me go, okay, Mercedes, I see you. I see you.
Yeah.
No,
this was a little bit of a next level.
Yeah, her and Willow were good. This was great. And all I kept thinking is, wow, I want Stephanie to stay in AEW. I want to see her every week. I want to see her infuse. I want to see her against Toni Storm. I want to see all these other women go against Stephanie because I really, really loved her style and how she wrestled. I would love to see her and Serena Deeb just go. Let those two just go out there and put on a fucking 20-minute banger. Which I know they don't ever get really 20 minutes outside of like one match in the entire history of AEW. Let's go out there and give them at least 15 to 20 minutes. I want to see those two go. But the very end, and I'm so mad at myself because I don't usually when I'm watching a show, I don't like leave the room or go to the bathroom or anything like that. But during Mercedes and Stephanie, I had to go to the bathroom so damn bad. I was like, all right, as soon as the match goes, I'm going to the bathroom. And as soon as they'll hit the 1, 2, 3, I booked it to the bathroom. Completely missed Britt Baker. Because by the time I came back, they were playing the Naito Moxley thing. So I did not know that Britt Baker came back until after the show ended. So I had to go back and rewatch that spot real quick. But it's so nice to see Britt back. I'm excited to see this feud because this is the first feud we're going, are they actually gonna let Mercedes lose? Now, granted, she's only had 3-4 matches, so it's not like it's a, she's been fucking Bill Goldberg or anything.
Yeah.
But I am intrigued by that showing. And that's one thing too that I'm actually really enjoying. I would give credit to AEW for. The TBS title is supposed to be considered like the Intercontinental title to the women's, but they treat it very equally to the women's world title. Even when Jade had it, Jade was it's a secondary title, but they were giving them. Sometimes I felt like the TBS title was more focused than the women's title at certain points, especially now that Mercedes has the belt and now Britt Baker's going for that belt. Nothing against obviously Toni, because obviously the Owen Hart tournament's going for that belt. But I love that they're treating these belts like equals.
Yeah.
Because Mercedes and Britt, that's a money match. That's a money feud.
That's more money than unfortunately Mariah May is right now. So it is.
Yeah, Mariah May is the build up to a story that could be something great. But is she going to turn on Toni before All In, or is it going to happen at All In? Depending on where they go with that is going to depend on how heightened that feud's going to be going into All In. Britt and Mone went out there on Wednesday. They sold this match already. Bitch, get in the back of the line. What line? Beautiful comeback for that. And then even the whole thing too, where
I believe she said, "What line, bitch?"
Yes, she did. What line, bitch? But yeah, we didn't know. We knew she had I knew she had a back injury. I did not know the hip injury. I did not know the stroke or seizure. Was it seizure or stroke?
Seizure?
Okay, yeah. But yeah, I didn't know anything about that. I just thought she was helping Adam and she had a back injury and she was just rested. We did not know all this extra shit.
What
a
troubled couple. Damn, guys, stay healthy.
Neither one of them can stay healthy right now. But yeah, I'm excited that Britt Baker's back. Having Britt Baker in the company is always going to be a positive for them. And I can't wait to see what these two do at All In. Next, we have Tetsuya Naito against Jon Moxley for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. What went wrong here? Because I've watched these two wrestle before. They've had great matches. Was it fatigue? Was it pay-per-view fatigue? Something just felt off between these two. The match just was there, and then it just ended. And I was just after it ended, I was I know I sat here and watched this whole match, but I felt like I didn't tune into it. I was watching it, but I kept zoning out of it. I might have been, it might have been pay-per-view fatigue. I don't know, but did you have that same feeling, or were you fully engaged with this?
No, 100%. This is again. I'm sure if we isolatedly watch this, like there wouldn't be much to necessarily like hate on it, but like yeah, it's one of those matches that I want to love and say, oh, what they really ended this show with 4 great ones. No, I knew exactly what you said when you said 3/4 of the last ones are great. I'm like, well, he's probably say Moxley Naito because that's the one that I think is the least of these last 4. Because yeah, I don't know. Like you said, is it just a matter of you're squishing it? Are you doing too much? Is it because we're looking at 15/10 main show matches where it's like you had a great women's match and spoiler, we're about to end with another great match in my opinion. So like, is this just kind of lost in the shuffle of like I just saw better and I'm about to see better? I don't know.
I mean,
Man.
it's not uncommon for AEW to have like 5 straight bangers. But
Yeah,
for some
true.
reason, it's just some just fell off. It wasn't like they didn't have the chemistry because I've seen these guys work before. They're
Right.
great. But it seemed like the crowd didn't really care. Maybe they don't know Naito as well. Maybe this particular crowd doesn't know Naito as well. But it just felt like Moxley and Naito were just kind of in the cruise control for this, pun intended for me. But
I was gonna
it's
say
just, yeah.
this almost felt like a Dynamite house show, like as in like we're saving the big match for the pay-per-view. This didn't feel necessarily like a world title pay-per-view match. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was kind of like when Danielson was kind of doing his thing on Collision. It was like, hey, well, we're gonna bring in Yuji Nagata and have you guys go. You're gonna have a good match, but it's not something you're probably gonna remember 2 weeks from now. But it's like even now, we're not even a week, and I'm like, I mean, Naito won, but goddamn, I'm trying to remember anything that happened in that fucking match.
And I'm glad Naito won.
And we weren't the only ones. People were shitting all over this match when the pay-per-view ended. I was like, I don't remember it being bad. I just remember just being
no, it was fine/good almost. Yeah, I almost felt bad. We were saying good, but like, yeah, it definitely wasn't the world title match of New Japan that we all kind of wanted, I guess.
Yeah. Speaking of the world title match that we wanted.
Hey.
Yes. The main event, Swerve versus Will Ospreay. I would argue match of the year, but we had Ospreay Danielson a couple months back, and that match was fucking amazing. These two fucking tore the roof. Before you're like, okay, I was like, ooh, like they're not buying Naito and Moxley, maybe because they're tired because we've had like 4 hours and 14 matches of wrestling. This crowd was there for this. Ospreay coming out in the Hayabusa gear, I thought was great. Even in that first like 3 minutes where you have the moment where they're just like testing each other and like they're like, hey man, you're not gonna get the better than me. We know each other. I was engaged in this the whole way through, which how could you not? If you can't get engaged in a Swerve Ospreay match, then I'm sorry, don't fucking watch pro wrestling, guys, because this match was so good. It's so good. Now people are gonna bitch about the ref bump and stuff. It's like you had to make sense for how Ospreay wasn't gonna win. Not that Swerve can't beat Ospreay because he fucking did, but you had to have something happen. And we're planting the seeds for the Callis family. I'm glad that they actually didn't fully like just attack Ospreay, and that's why he lost the match. Like he lost it straight up.
Yeah,
he could have finished it at certain points, but Callis, pointed the screwdriver stuff. But when it got to the point of Swerve was just better prepared. Swerve was ready. This is Swerve's moment. That moment when Ospreay goes for the hidden blade and he has nothing behind it and Swerve catches him, I thought was great. Swerve fucking kicked Ospreay's head off on that one because like his fucking eye was blowing up by the end of the match. The fucking double stomp on the table. There's so many fantastic moments in this match. I fucking love this. This ended on the perfect note for the pay-per-view. Keep going.
No, I almost want to sound ignorant and saying this surpassed my expectations because maybe I should just stop having any qualms that we're gonna have nothing but like listen, a 5-star for Ospreay. You said match of the year contender. Might as well rename it the Ospreay match of the year because the dude's just so good on another level here. And this was this is a good one here, man. Like I said, it met / surpassed my expectations here. A true main event, and it shows you too how I'm a big believer in like heel and faces. But this just shows you that if you also just have two people that can have a real back and forth fight, like that's also all that matters too, to a large degree.
I think the thing that also helped with this as well is because face, and probably the two outside of like maybe Danielson, the two top faces in
Yeah.
the company, is that they were selling this more on their friendship and respect for one another.
Yeah.
And then it started to get personal in the last 2 weeks. And that's what really sold this thing, is that there's a mutual respect. There's a mutual friendship between these guys, because these guys have known each other since, they were both super skinny, dancing in the ring against each other. And was it Rev Pro or British, one of those British companies? But these two now are at the pinnacle of pro wrestling. They're two of the best wrestlers in the world, and they're going out there and just one-upping one another till the very last moment. It was a beautifully well done story. Ospreay had his chance to cheat. He wouldn't do it because it's Swerve, and because he has to play the good guy. He almost attacks Nana, but he's not going to do that because it's Nana. Everything about this worked. I wouldn't, and it's not going to happen. But remember, we were saying, like, why are we doing this now and not at All In? Well, we're not going to get it at All In because of the Owen Hart tournament. But if they did, though, fucking yeah, bring it. Let's go again. In a month from now, fuck yeah. Let's Ospreay Swerve. Let's go again. But I actually almost would like that these two stay separated till next year. They had their matches. Let Ospreay have his feuds for the international title now. Let Swerve do his stuff. As much as I would love to see these two work again right away, I don't want to see these two near each other, at least until World's End. Keep them away from each other. Let's build them back up to the height again and make that match even bigger the second time around. That's how I would do booking-wise for that. But yeah, it was a great way to tap off the show. And then, like I said, we're already setting up new stories. MJF went full bad guy again, which I think is what everyone wanted. We're looking at potentially Ospreay MJF at All In, which I'm not mad at that at all. We got, like I said, Mone and Britt Baker. We've got Swerve against whoever's going to win the Owen Hart thing, which is Danielson against, I guess we find out on Saturday. It's Hangman and Jay White. It's going to be Hangman. Now that Hangman's that wild card, though, who do you have, Danielson or Hangman? Who's going to All In against Swerve?
Danielson.
I would say Danielson too, but it's like Hangman. Now I can see Hangman costing Swerve the belt at All In, and Danielson winning the title there, and he gets his moment finally. Because I feel like it's Danielson's last year as a full timer. They're going to give Danielson the belt, but it would make sense that Hangman,
at the very least, give him the match.
Yeah. Especially in Wembley. Like the only option that I would be okay with if it wasn't Danielson and Swerve now is they'd have to go through so many channels of medical things, is that it'd be Danielson against Nigel at Wembley. That is the only match you guys can give me. That
was my original guess, was Danielson and Nigel. I was thinking it might end up being like a tag or a 6-man. I don't know if they're going to jump him into.
He could be training without us knowing.
No, he might be. So I remember last year he dropped a photo of like, "Hey, look at me in my gear." Wink, wink. Like Nigel is definitely hinted, and he's always such a dick to Danielson. Where if it's not this year, again, I'm gonna keep saying it until I'm blue in the face. Next year, because
they're gonna have to go. They're gonna have to go through some channels because of the hepatitis, but. As long as Danielson says, "Hey, I'm just not going to bleed in this match," which I know it's hard. I know it's hard, guys. Just don't bleed in the match, and we will.
Well, that's why I was saying, like, maybe do a tag or a 6-man, because I feel like a one-on-one, we're going to have the 2005 expectations of a Danielson Nigel, and that also comes with the expectations of blood. So, like, maybe a 6-man would make more sense, which would also make more sense for next year when they're both kind of on the outs,
Yeah, I just. I want to see. I think everyone wants to see it. It's just more or less we got to make it, and it's not even make it make sense. It's gonna make sense. They've been building this.
No, I mean it could happen this year. It'll make perfect sense if it happened this year.
Yeah. But that would be the only reason I'd be okay with Danielson not going into All In for the title is Nigel. But anything else before we cut this one out?
No. I mean, still overall, I think a worthy pay-per-view in the AEW lineage. Fantastic main event here. Some good women's stuff, you know what I mean? Yeah, no, this was still a good show overall.
Yeah, we can't say that we didn't get our money's worth for this pay-per-view.
Yeah, no.
15 matches for $50. At least AEW is making us earn or spend our money wisely. But what were your guys' thoughts? What was your favorite match of Forbidden Door? If it's not Ospreay Swerve, I would love to know why. I'm not saying that you're not allowed to have other opinions, but oh my God, if it's not that, I would love to know your reasonings for why this other match was better. But let us know what your thoughts were on Forbidden Door. We hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you guys did, go and hit that like, share, and subscribe button to the channel so you guys stay up to date with all the latest videos that pop up on the Wrestling Crusaders and the Movie Crusaders. And of course, you have to follow us on all the social media outlets you see below. Coming up next, we're coming right back here. Jordan and I are going to be talking about Money in the Bank. It is tomorrow night. We're going to discuss who we think is going to pull down the briefcase and what else is going to happen on that pay-per-view. So be here with us for that. No updates on the Fantasy League because we're in the middle of the week. And we got SmackDown and Money in the Bank still to play. So no updates for that compared to last episode. But we are about almost 2 months out from All In because it's the end of August. We have no pay-per-view between here and there. So they're going to be building that show. Who knows? It's going to be probably a fucking 20-match card by the time we get to All In. But it'll be story-based, though, because we're not
starts at noon.
Exactly. But anyway, we are the Wrestling Crusaders. I'm Sean Wasgroup. That is Jordan J.P.O. Owens. And until next time, in case we don't see you, don't try this at home unless it's on your little brother. Don't tell mom.
So, goodbye. Mwah. And good night. Bang!